that all men have inalienable rights to think freely, to talk freely, to write freely their own opinions, and to counter or utter or write upon the opinions of others.
This is from the Creed of the Church of Scientology.
What was your first experience with Scientology?
The first time I knew anything about Scientology at all was back in 1980 when 60 Minutes did a story about Scientology taking over Clearwater. Um, and it was an amazing story that was just jaw dropping about how they snuck into town and started to do this covert operation to gain all control of the city. And of course, they failed. And L. Ron Hubbard's wife, he's the founder of Scientology, his wife and 10 other executives went to prison for covert acts against the US government and the local Clearwater government. So it was quite a scandal at the time. So I saw that, and unfortunately, after that, there was not an internet around then. So I really didn't, do any more research on them. But when I moved to LA in the 90s, I found myself passing by their properties all the time. And I eventually was living in a home in the Hollywood Hills. And the woman who lived there before me was a Scientologist. And she apparently did not give them their forwarding address because I kept getting her junk mail. So all the celebrity magazines would arrive. And I'd read through them and see the ads for e-meters and read all the Scientology jargon. And it was just wacky. And then I was working at a research company for the motion picture studios. And I was with a coworker. We were driving past Big Blue, which is their main property on Sunset Boulevard in LA. It used to be the old Cedars of Lebanon Hospital, and they took it over. And my friend said, "Well, what do you know about these people?" And I said, "Well, it's pretty much a money-making thing. It's created by a science fiction writer. But that's all I know." And we didn't say anything else about it. And a year later, somebody said to me, "She's a Scientologist." And I went, "What?" By then, I'd been researching Scientology and reading a bunch of books and going on the internet and getting involved in a chat group. But yeah, my friend that I used to hang out with every single day, we were great friends. She kept that from me, but as I started looking back at our relationship, I saw, oh yeah, all of these things are earmarks of Scientology. Her hatred of psychiatry, or this, that, and the other thing. So I called her up and said, "Well, how's your e-meter reading?" And she went, "What? What? What are you talking about?" I said, "Well, I know you're a Scientologist. It's okay." And she said, "Well, would you come to the church? Would you?" And I said, "Sure, I'll come to the church." And she arranged for me to go there the next day. Oh, we had to go the next day, and I met her at the Celebrity Center. And I just thought we'd be wandering around, but she had me watch the introductory film, take the personality test, play with an e-meter, and then sit down with the head of the Celebrity Center as he tried to sell me on some courses. And I asked some pointed questions, but nothing too deep because I did not know the depths of stuff I know now. But I just said, "No, I'm sorry, this is not for me." And not long after that, my friend disconnected from me. But what the heck? So I started getting more and more interested in Scientology during that whole period. And in the late 90s, I started putting out video on the internet because video on the net was new at that time. There's very little video out there. You had to use Real Player, which was this barbaric little crappy quality video stream. There was also QuickTime, but you couldn't stream that. But I had an early video capture card, so I started, videotaping episodes from TV. Lisa McPherson, CBS did a story about Lisa McPherson. And I thought, well, there's probably people in other parts of the world who'd like to see this. So I captured that and put that online and started doing that. And so I became the go-to guy for video or audio whenever it came to Scientology stuff. People started sending me their own videos of pickets that I'd edit and put together. And I would get alerts all the time. Mark, you got to be ready at 7 o'clock at this night on this channel. There's going to be a program. And from that grew Xenu TV, which was my website that I put up in mid-99. And I put that up right after Scientology found out who I was, and they came to picket me at my home. I had been using a pseudonym on the news group Alt Religion Scientology. And I called myself Ben Wog at the beginning. And then I decided, like Hubbard, I'd give myself a doctorate. So I became Dr. Benjamin Wog, and went by that for quite some time until Scientology tracked me down and leafleted my neighborhood, with a scary picture of me that said, "Neighbors beware. He is not who you think he is." Luckily they signed it. At the bottom it says from Church of Scientology, and it essentially said that I'm a religious bigot who spends all my time targeting religions on the net. And neighbors called me about that because they put my phone number on it, and we had a good laugh about it. And then that afternoon, 2 of them came to my house to picket me with their signs. And I grabbed my camera and I went out and started to interview them. And one of them left almost immediately, and the other, he stuck around for about 20 minutes before he had enough. And then I put that video on the line online right away, and they never did that again. And I found that having a video camera with me was an important method of fighting back, because anytime they do something goofy, I could put it on the internet. And I always allowed the Scientologists to say the insane, horrible, nasty things. I always tried to be polite to them, because it's not the Scientologists that I have a problem with. It's the organization and the very nasty things that the organization can do, primarily to members of Scientology if they get out of line. So all these abuses are really baked into the organization by Hubbard to keep Scientologists themselves in line. And of course, anyone in the public who says something negative, well, the order is to attack, always attack, never defend. And Hubbard wrote that anyone who's critical of Scientology is a criminal. All we have to do is dig up their crimes to find out what their crimes are and use them to silence them. And that became clear in one of my next videos, when I was surrounded on the street by 3 Scientologists, all coming up to me going, "What are your crimes, Mark? Come on, spit them out. What are your crimes?" And it was insane. But that was the first example of bull baiting, especially a gangbang bull bait. First example on video that the world could see, to see just how crazy this is. And bull baiting is a training routine that the Scientologists do. Every Scientologist learns how to bull bait. It's supposed to help you get your TRs in, your training routines, so that you can't be, your buttons can't be pushed, essentially. One Scientologist will sit in the chair, and they'll remain silent while another Scientologist is hovering over them, saying horrible things to them, trying to provoke them. And if they blink, if they do anything, react at all, they flunk and they have to start again. So it's an amazing thing to consider that everybody from the lowest Sea Org member to Tom Cruise has done this bull baiting routine. And I seem to be a natural OT, operating Phaeton, as Hubbard would put it, an advanced being, because I can't be bull baited. So whatever they throw at me, I just shrug it off. So that's a very long-winded version of my origin story.